Describe the classification of signal. As we can differentiate the animals in the forest from each other on the basis of the appearance and their way of communication through distinct signals, the similar concept can be used for understanding the concept of classification of signals. So we can say that classification of signal is defined as the process by which the signals of different nature and behavior are distinguished from each other. Now let's see how classification of signals is done. Basically, signal can be classified on the basis of their behavior and nature as continuous and discrete signal, periodic and non-periodic signal, causal, anti-causal and non-causal signal, deterministic and random signal. A signal is said to be a continuous signal if it is defined for all instances of time, and amplitude of such signals vary continuous with time. They are also called as analog signals. For discrete time signal, the amplitude varies at every instance and uniformly spaced. The horizontal axis represents the amplitude while the vertical plane represents the time axis. Now let's study another classification of signals on the basis of their periodicity. A signal is said to be periodic if it repeats itself after a specific interval of time, or after a fixed number of samples. A continuous time signal is periodic if xt is equal to, where t is the time period after which the signal repeats itself. A discrete time signal is periodic if xn is equal to, where n is the fundamental period that represents the number of samples after which a signal repeats itself. A signal that does not repeat itself after a fixed interval of time or samples is referred to as a non-periodic signal. Another classification of signal is done on the basis of causality. A signal that has zero amplitude for all negative instants of time is known as a causal signal. A signal that has zero value for all positive instants of time but has amplitude higher than zero for negative instances of time is referred to as an anti-causal signal. A signal that has positive values of amplitude for both positive and negative instances of time is a non-causal signal. Now the next classification of signal is deterministic signal and random signal. If the nature of any signal is such that the future values of the signal can be predicted or determined from its present nature, it is said to be a deterministic signal. For example, sine wave, square wave, etc. are all deterministic signals. A signal from which its strength or amplitude for future instances of time can't be determined with sufficient accuracy is known as a random signal. Related terms are